Hi, my name is Angel, and today we will add device registration to the login flow of our app using Magic's Web SDK. We are going to add device registration to the white-labeled custom email OTP application we created in a previous video. If you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. Link in the description. Here you see an image of the UI that would show up for device registration. Before I get into the UI, I would just describe what device registration is. Device registration is a security feature that helps protect end users from sophisticated phishing techniques. When a returning user initiates a login from an unrecognized device or browser, they will receive an email or text message to review and confirm the login request. Device registration applies to returning users logging in via email with one-time passwords or with magic links that do not include a redirect URL. It also applies to SMS logins, and this would only apply on unrecognized devices. Device registration is not going to be enforced at the time of the account creation, so when you make your application, it is off by default. And you will just navigate into the dashboard and the settings for your application to enable this setting. And I will demonstrate this in a moment. The UI on screen here demonstrates what you would see if you are using Magic's UI during this flow and your user is logging in with email. They're going to see this UI if the device they are registering is the same device they are attempting to log in on. That means if I am on my MacBook and it is an unrecognized device, so I am going to now register it, I will receive an email, and in this email I will have this button to approve this login. If where I'm clicking this button is also on the same device, that same MacBook, this is the UI I should expect to see. It's just going to check the device and approve. Now if I am on a device like my phone and I'm approving the registration through my phone, but I initiate a login via my MacBook, then these two devices do not match. When I click the approve this login button, I will be presented with the following UI. This UI lets the user know that the device they are currently on does not match the device where the login attempt was initiated. After clicking approve, the login will be approved. Otherwise, the user may click reject. So in the case where the devices don't match, there is just one extra step here to approve. For SMS logins, a text message instead of an email is going to be sent to the user to register their new device. Replying with a 1 will approve the device, and replying with a 2 will block the login attempt. For either scenario, if you block the login attempt, you can always try again with the login and a new device registration email will be sent. So if you did this erroneously, you're not blocked indefinitely. It's just that attempt that is blocked when you reject the login approval. In a previous video, we added a white-labeled login using one-time passcodes to our application using npx make magic. Right now the project is running and we can see it here. So I'm ready to log in, and we can see that the style change I made to that button is still there as well. If I log in, I should be able to go through without a device registration prompt. Now this is using our own UI for the OTP login, this is what we did in that previous video. A reminder that the video I'm mentioning is linked in the description below. I'm going to cancel this login. I want to be prompted for this device registration. So in my application, I have navigated to the settings, and within the settings, I have located device registration. Right now it's somewhere in the middle here. And as you can see, the feature is disabled, and it is strongly recommended to enable this for your application. I'm just going to click edit, and then I'm going to toggle the feature on. Last step is click save, and as we can see, it has been saved. Now that device registration has been enabled, I'm going to refresh this page just to make sure that the configuration is loaded. When I log in, I will be logging in with a device I have already used. As you can see, I get the prompt for the device registration, and it is using Magix UI. The reason I see it, even though I am on a device that I've logged in with before, is because this device has never been registered. None of my devices have ever been registered because I just enabled the feature. Magic is telling me that I received an email with a registration link. So I should go to my email. And I'm going to go ahead and click that approve this login button. Alright, and so it is asking me if I want to reject or approve. And this is the UI I showed you in the slides. The reason you're not seeing it right now, it just has some private information like our IP address. So I'm clicking approve. And now there's an incongruency here. The OTP is showing in Magix UI, and you can see that I was listening for the event back here. And so my UI has also adjusted. Nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and put this OTP in here so we can move on. Okay, now this is not the behavior we want. We want to use our own UI, and so we want to use our own UI for the device registration as well. So I would disconnect from here, and the next time we go through the device registration flow, it's going to show our UI or my UI as I build it here, and whatever your UI is when you if you are following along. So what we want to do here is actually add here, let's go to our docs. Let's get rid of this. Okay, and I'm just going to scroll here to email OTP because that's what we are logging in with currently, and this can be done for magic links. Just know that it won't apply if you're using a redirect URL with magic links. Just going to scroll up to login with magic link here, and we can see the redirect URI parameter or sorry, argument here, that if you decide to pass it or not. If you use it, then the new device registration flow would not kick off, as it wouldn't be necessary at that point. Back to login with email OTP. We just need to pass device check URI and just say false. When we say false, that means we're going to show our own UI. It's default true. So let's put that in here. And we're going to say false. So now it wouldn't show anything because it'll be waiting for me. And so if I want to demonstrate that, I think I should go to a new tab, and let's just try again. And as we see, the device registration it should be coming up right now. I'm not sure if I can see this after the fact, but we're basically waiting on the user to approve the login, and right now the user doesn't know because we didn't present them with UI. So I'm going to just get out of here. Actually, I should just refresh the page, and we may stay on incognito for a bit so that we can see what this looks like. So now that we have device check UI false, we need to create that modal that we saw where we tell the user they need to register their device. And so I'm going to go ahead and create a new component here. Let's see. We'll do it right in the same folder, in the auth folder. And we'll call it, what's going on there? We'll call it device registration. Alright, let's do TSX. And we can copy this, and then we'll just go from there. Or I could, let me just see this. This might be too different. So I'm going to actually copy an example I've already created in a React app. We can add the link to this other implementation as well. It's just plain React and JS, no Next.js, no TypeScript. But in this case we are using TypeScript, so I'm going to probably modify some pieces here, or not, we'll see how it goes. So I'm pasting in a component that I've created previously, and then I'm just going to walk through this and explain what's going on. So let me just save, and so let's walk through device registration. We're going to take in a login, which is what we are passing here as well. See, OTP login. So we're going to pass this one in, and then we're going to also pass in the handle cancel, which we should have up here. Yep, just here. So we're going to pass in both of those, the same as we did with OTP. And so I can actually copy this. It'll be just the same. There you go. Okay. And we are going to have a message. So again, not too different than the OTP modal, and we probably even could have combined them and shown a different UI conditionally, but I prefer them separated. And so now that we have the login, this login here would have to be replaced with OTP login. Hopefully those are the only two, so we just say OTP login. So the first event that we're listening for is device verification email sent. When the email has been sent for the user to register their device, we will receive this event. So we should listen for it, and when we get it, we should tell the user that the email has been sent to them. And here I'm saying device registration instructions have been emailed to you. If it is expired, then I'm going to present this message that the link is expired and that they should just try again, in which case I'm setting retry to true. Now, what is retry? So if the user has a retry available, then there will be a retry button for them to retry the login. Pretty simple, straightforward. And we have a handle retry, and this is just going to emit the device retry event. And of course, if there's any errors, we're just logging them so we can see them. We're going to look at the events, and so we're going to scroll down, And again, you can see the plain JavaScript examples here. If you're not using React, if you're not using Next or any other framework, this is the most plain example we can give you here. And these are the device these are the device verification events for device registration. Device needs approval just means that the device is not recognized, so we need to approve. Device verification email was sent is dispatched when the device verification email sent. Straightforward. Device is approved, so now it's been approved. And verification link expired, and then the retry that we just went over. So now that we have this all here, we should give it a shot. It's probably not ready just yet. Let's see. So prom event. I did something wrong. Try to make it easy. Okay, there you go. This probably doesn't like my double quotes. Okay, that's fine. We can move with this. All right, so now that we have our component for device registration, we need to bring this into the email login flow. Device check UI has been included. We're saying do not show the UI. You need to have show UI included here as false, or else this will not take effect. But we have both, and so we are good to proceed. We set the OTP login, and we begin the login process. We're going to want to add some events to listen to now, including device needs approval. Now, as you see here on our component, we're checking that the email was sent and if the link is expired. In email TP, we should listen for device needs approval so that we can actually kick off that flow, and device approved so that we can get rid of the modal, and then we can move on to OTP has been sent, which is here as a as an enum, but you could have simply have said email OTP sent as a string, like so, something like this. And probably would have to remove some of these. Okay, and then it's fine. And then it doesn't like my double quotes, of course, but you could have done that as well. And so I will use, I may just use the string today and tidy it up later if necessary with some of these enums. So we want to include the device registration events right before this step here, before the email OTP has been sent to the user. So I'm gonna just drop down here, tab in, and then say that we have another on to listen to, and this is going to be device needs approval. And then that's pretty cool, right? Thank you, AI. Okay. So now what we're going to do here is call up this UI if the user device needs approval. Now I'm going to paste in something that won't make sense just yet, because remember I did create this component in a different project and I am pasting it over. So what I'm going to do now is create a set show device registration modal that's just going to show the device registration modal. And so in order to do that, we'll need to create these this state. And so I'm just also going to copy this over. It's the only additional state we will use. I'm just going to put it right here on the bottom. And now we have show device registration modal, set show device registration modal. Okay, and we also need use state to be false. That was pretty cool. Okay, now we can show the device registration modal, but we don't have the logic to show it just yet on the in our return. So I'm going to add just one more event to listen for, and let's put this together. And let's go like this. Cool. I typed it all myself this time. And so I'm going to now add an event for device approved, and we are going to hide the OTP. We are going to hide the device registration modal in this scenario. We're going to hide the device registration modal if the device has been approved. And so really all you want to do is set show device registration modal to false at this point, and handle the logic a little later on actually hiding it. So let me also just include this helpful comment. Alright. Cool. So we see device needs approval, then we show the modal. If it's approved, we do not show the modal anymore. And then we will send the email, and at that point the email will be kicked off, and so we are now going to listen for the email OTP sent. Originally, without device registration, once the user submits the email login form and begins the login flow, the first thing we will hear or receive as an event is email OTP sent. But in the case of device registration, we are going to first check for device needs approval, and then device approved if it does need approval, and then we will get the email OTP sent, in which case we will know to show the OTP modal at that point, which we covered in our previous video. This component is not done just yet, because now we need to handle showing our device registration modal. And I'm just going to drop in something down here. Let's see, where can we drop it in? So first we should see if we need to show the device registration modal. And if we do, we show it. If we don't need to, we should check if we need to show the OTP modal like we're doing here. And if we need to show the OTP modal, we will. If we don't, then we're just going to show we're going to check. Let me see, show OTP modal. Yeah, we're just going to show the email form on the login page. And so let's go ahead and do this. Show OTP modal. Shows OTP modal. Otherwise, shows the form input. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add yet another conditional here. And let me see if I could just paste it in. Hopefully this will work out. Okay, so I think we got it. Alright, man, let me just call this OTP login. I won't worry about the type issues just yet, or maybe at all in this video. We are going to go ahead and test this out now. Alright, let me just see if I can trigger this here. Although I did register. Okay, so let's cancel this and try another one, maybe 99. Alright, so it looks like I may have to try on... Yeah, okay. Okay, so we see the device registration did show up, although my button looks weird here. It should say, let's see, what should it say, as a matter of fact? Alright, so we have our message. What message do we have? Device registration instructions have been emailed to you. So that's great. That's what we want. And that is this here. Device registration, device verification email sent. And so my message here is device registration instructions have been emailed to you. And I'm not going to wait around for the link to expire in 20 minutes. But you can imagine that when it expires, we'll hear it and we're just going to show a message and then we're going to set the retries. So I'm going to cancel it. How about that? Alright, on device. Okay, so we didn't like this for some reason. Alright, something was wrong there. Device registration email sent. Oh, I should probably add if OTP login here. So let's do that. I'm gonna take this whole thing. What did I do here? Handle login. Alright, let's just try this real quick. So if OTP, then we can go ahead and try this out. Alright, let's see what happens now. Okay, looks like I had another message show up and it went away very fast, but we can improve that on another step. So now that I have the device registration email sent yet again, let's cancel it and see if that fixed anything. Alright, it worked, but my email OTP did not go away. And, well, that's because I think I did not handle cancel. Okay. Did I pass and handle cancel? Yes. Alright, I'm gonna try this again. Let's go ahead and cancel. Or not. Well, let's keep the dev console open. See what goes wrong or goes right. Alright, so we got the instructions as we expect. One thing we need to add is a finally. And so, or actually we should add logic to the finally that we have, or settled. Finally or settled, in this case, in the case of promise events. And so when everything is done, as you can see, we set OTP login to undefined. And so we should do the same thing. Sorry, not the OTP login, the set show OTP modal. So we're gonna go set show device registration to false. And now this should work. So let's refresh. Okay. Okay, so now when we want to cancel, we're good. Now let's just do this all over again. So I'm going to log in. I see the instruction here to go to my email to register my device, but I'm going to cancel and we're back to the main page. That is because of the logic here where when everything is settled, basically after canceled, we're going to catch an error and then we're going to go to settled, and we are getting rid of the OTP promise. We're getting setting false to OTP modal showing, and we're setting false to device registration modal showing. So neither of those should show at that point. And in device registration, you can just see our cancel button there. I put a retry button, and only if the user has retries, which we can now move on to. So if I go here and I can see like there's no retry button, and that is because of the amount of retries. So it starts at false, and then because the device verification link didn't expire, there's no retry, so there's no reason to show the button. But if we wait around here for 20 minutes, the button will show up. That's just the way I coded it. You can code it in whichever manner you prefer that matches the behavior that you desire. And so instead of canceling, I'm actually going to go to my email and approve. So right now I'm looking at the approval email. I'm pulling in my email so that you can see what it looks like. Now there was a slight delay here because I'm just hiding my IP address from showing, and here you can see it. So it's a, well, I expanded this window quite wide, but there you go. Yeah, it's still very wide. Okay, that's fine. So you see my device registration, and when I click this button, a new tab will show up. So I'm just going to open that up as a matter of fact. And I'm going to do the same thing just so that the IP address is not showing. I'm actually going to just put in some all caps here, and you'll see what I mean. So we click the button, and whoops, and we get this. So of course I just took my IP address out of here by doing some inspect, but it would show your IP address, the same thing, you know, it would be just as long as this one is, but I also blacked that one out on purpose. So I'm just going to go ahead and approve, and you'll see in the background that we should move on to the next step. And the next step is OTP email has been sent. So we approve. Now we're looking down here. Okay, so OTP email has been sent. My app is aware of that and is now showing the OTP modal, which is where we left off in our previous video. So we know now that we can go ahead and continue logging in. And if let's see if I received this email or not. Okay. So this looks like 0 minutes ago. I'm going to just go ahead and do this number. But before I do, I want to actually put in the wrong number. So the number, I'm pulling it off to the side here. It is 908786. And just to demonstrate our OTP modal is working as we expected, we can see that that was incorrect. So now I'll just put the actual number and submit. And I'll just X that out, get that out of our way, and we're back to our application in which we can get the information of our application. Let's say get an ID token. I think that's been logged to the console. And there you go. So we have implemented device registration using our own UI. We also saw what it was like to use Magic's UI. But in the case of using your own UI, you will need to set device check UI false and show your own UI for both of these. You wouldn't do both. You wouldn't show Magic's UI only for device registration, but then use your own UI for the email login. So use them both together. If you're using Magic's UI instead of your own for the entire email login flow, know that the device registration modal that comes up will match your settings that you have set in your dashboard, which we can see here. If I come to customization branding, it's going to follow these colors, the dark theme, light theme, my logo, and so on. But in the app you saw, it's completely white labeled, so it's using my own UI. And if I wanted to stop using the device registration UI, I would just disable it from the dashboard. Looks like I'm not logged in. That would explain why it looked like it was actually enabled. So let me just log in real quick and get back to you. And we'll just go back to our app, which is somewhere down here, and our setting. And if we want to disable that flow, we'll just click disable, and it will no longer be a part of any login flow for this application. So that's a wrap. Today we discussed device registration, why it's used, why you will want to implement it in your application using Magic's SDKs. And even though we did go over only email, this is applicable to SMS logins as well. We will create a separate video for that in the future, so keep an eye out for it. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.